O! Kurde, nic nie widzę przez ten ogień. Dowódca najemników taki słaby? What the fuck? Jezu, nic nie widzę przez ten ogień. Kurwa, nic nie widzę przez to podpalenie cholerne. Okej. Okay. 1300 jeszcze. Nie no, muszę wbić te pożarcie duszy na max. Wtedy będzie takie OP, bo będę sobie... Okej, to jest jakaś broń. O, nawet dwie bronie. Dobra, wszystko, nie? Okej, teraz sobie dajmy przywołanie wilka. Śledzę rozpaczy. Dobra, to już dawaj, wygaszenie. Raczej nie będzie potrzebne. Co to za dziura? Co to za dziura? A, to ona. No, oczywiście, kurwa, pojawić się już po wszystkim, nie? Najlepiej.
Well, I'll be damned. I take it you were successful? What about the all of them? Call me a pregnant Lyran. You really are good at What about Sev? Did you find him? Fuck. That little shit. I was Well, whatever. What's your name, anyway? Amidst all this, we didn't have time for... You're pleased? Well, I actually had the feeling that I was a little rough on you. Sorry. Anyway, for starters, tell me how you managed to get the old ranter to... That doesn't happen very often. I've got time.
Okej, historia. Drogoja. Gamblinga.
You're saying that you learned all this, the magic, the swordplay in such a short... And these visions, if I understand correctly, you foresaw the death of the two It does indeed. But hey, who am I to judge? Here you are, the mysterious... And even better, now you tell me that these skills come from studying magic for only a couple of weeks, and that you can see... Shit. Not you, sorry. I mean, I just had... But no, that would be crazy. Way too unlikely. Well, I'd like to speak freely, but I'm bound to my agreement with the Holy Order. However, I will tell Constantine and old Aranthiel about my theory. And you will probably have to be patient until the latter decides to put you in the picture. Sorry. Then we'll be in a position to really kick ass. Anyway, hold still for
Dobra, nie ruszam się.
All right, let's do this. Don't worry, it'll just tickle a bit.
Wszyscy mówią o łaskotaniu, nie wiem czemu.
Fuck!
Ale oczywiście musiała coś zjebać. Typowe. O. Musiała coś zjebać, jestem... okej, jestem w tym samym miejscu.
Are you all right? That wasn't on purpose. Really. Sorry, as I said, I didn't... I have no idea what just happened. The ritual isn't exactly harmless, but normally you shouldn't feel more than a weak tickle at most, regardless of how it goes down. Maybe this has something to do with the strangeness of your aura. I already said this, but it's so different. It's hard to explain. Somehow complex and cold. But hey, I'm probably just out of practice. It worked. Your fever will now settle down to an endurable level, and maybe even vanish if you're careful. And now I suggest you return to Constantine. I will get this. You need anything else? If not, see you later. We're going to meet again. I can feel it. Take care.
Dobra, 500, okej. Dobra, czyli teraz co? Musielibyśmy się przeteleportować do Musielibyśmy się przeteleportować do Świątyni Słońca, tak? Chyba. Chyba do Świątyni Słońca, jeśli dobrze mniemam.
There you are.
Okej,
Mr. Carlos has been looking for you.
Carlos.
dobra.
What's that?
Coś bym musiał... mam tu jakieś zdrowie.
I don't know, but I think it's about the tome he wanted you to transcribe.
Okej, idziemy. Taki zapisik.
Yes. What?
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 Now, if it isn't the prodigy, well... Yes, I know. She's already told me everything. Good, but I'll leave the judgment to Aranthiel. He wants to talk to you anyway. Seems you've caught his interest.
Dobra.
In the Emporium, the last building on the left side of the temple. Just tell the... Ah, yes, before I forget. My dame Lucy has left a token of gratitude for
O,
you.
książkę
It's your
2
choice.
PN.
Do you want a book? An
Mapa
old map?
skarbów. Książkę.
I'm sure we'll talk again later.
Nie no, książkę, kurde, pewnie, że książkę. I co, i teraz mamy level, czy nie? A nie, punktów wspomnień mamy. Aha, dobra. Okej, czyli tu nie ma...
Now, if it isn't
Dobra,
the
to idziemy.
prodigy, well,
Prophecy. Shinchoubi ayarimasu donge. Inaitsuyo a atsuyo a. Dobra, idziemy. Idziemy. Puścisz mnie? Emporium. Emporio Armani. Dobra. Pyk.
This is holy ground, Outlander.
To nie miejsce dla ciebie, to nie
And to
miejsce
send an
dla
entire division
ciebie.
across the sea because of a
Pierdolisz.
suspicion is madness.
We need to find out who sent the mercenaries. This Pegast said that they were after the Signet Stone, and if they succeed in getting hold of it next time, then the Black Guardian alone knows how to stop the cycle.
The
Ona z daleka wygląda jakby miała
almost
brodę.
makes me forget that all this fuss here is merely based on some bad dreams you and your Neremes friends had.
The threat
A bo ona
is real.
stara.
Deny it as much as you like,
Stara.
but deep inside, you feel it as much as I do.
Tila, you're a commander, and a commander doesn't care about feelings, but about facts. You have made this mistake before, Tilor, back then in Kira, and we all
Natara,
know
the mission will happen. I'm sorry.
you have a visitor.
So, you are the prodigy everyone is talking about. I am Tiela Aranthia, son of Lorius I and Grandmaster of the Order, and I'm honored to meet you. Yes, and I will come. You are here because I believe that you are special. Humanity faces a threat that needs to be stopped, and to achieve this, you are indispensable. Among other things, yes. I do not need to explain to you that the present situation on Vin is chaotic. The wars, the living dead, common people who are losing their minds. What most people are not aware of is the connection between these events. You, however, have encountered it, as have I. I do, and I will explain everything to you. What it means, who we are, and what your part in all of this
Okej,
is.
czy dowiem się czegoś o sobie w końcu?
Maybe you already know who I am. My entire life, I served the gods who ruled Vin, until their death 2 years ago. What you probably do not know is that the one responsible for their death is my son, Narazul Aranthial. He hated the Lightborn because he believed that they robbed mankind of their right to freedom, so he strived to overthrow them. He found followers, formed an army and declared war on them, and thus on me, a servant of the Lightborn as well. It all ended in a battle 30 years ago, which Narazul won. He killed every single survivor except for me, and locked me in a dungeon on Nerim. I still do not know why he spared me. There were circumstances favoring the development, but it's a long story which we won't... Yes, after more than 30 years, when the death of the gods made the magic around the prison disappear. And during my escape in the northern mountains of Nerim...
Okej.
I always saw the same glaring, terrible light. Heard screaming, and I felt like I was burning up from the inside. And above all, like a veil, there was the knowledge of imminence. At first, of course, I dismissed these dreams as the delusion of a man close to death. So I concentrated on making it through the mountains somehow. 2 days after my escape, I was completely exhausted, and I would have died if a former acolyte of my son had not found me. Yes, but he did not recognize me, and brought me to their headquarters instead, an old monastery in the mountains. The others were aware of my identity, but for whatever reason, maybe because they thought that the death of the Lightborn had made me insignificant. I do not know. Still, even after my recovery, the dreams continued. At first, I doubted my sanity, but after some time I told the leader of the mages, Constantine, about them. And he said something that I'd never expected. I was
Gdzie my idziemy?
not alone. He, as well as many others magically gifted on Vin, dreamed the same dreams. And the more we talked about the matter, the stronger our suspicion grew, which has now turned out to be the truth. The dreams, they come from the same place. They are a shared memory. A collective subconscious. Yes, I know that you can feel it too, and probably far more intense than we do. But like you back then, we were not able to make sense of the images. So we went looking for answers. In the remain, the Pyreans. 3 things. First, there were many civilizations before us, and
A gdzie ty idziesz, arkanisto?
maybe
Wow,
hundreds,
co tu jest?
maybe thousands. Second, the history of each civilization unfolded and still unfolds according to a pattern. They emerge, they blossom, and at some point, at the apex of their existence, they simply disappear without any trace. And third, everything that has happened in the past years, and which is still happening, indicates that this disappearance
Nic nie widać.
lies ahead of us.
Mgiełka jest.
We are part of an eternal loop, a cycle, and our cycle is approaching its end. Yes, it does. At first we considered it absurd, as probably... But there came a moment when we simply could not deny. We began to study the history of the Pyreans more intensely, and the parallels were extraordinary. In its early days, the Pyrean Empire was split up by a disaster, just like Vin was split up by the Starfall after the reign of the Eterna. Also,
Kurde, nie
Pyreans had a
nie
ruling caste who
za
declared
bardzo
themselves gods
czaję tą
after the
historię.
catastrophe. The 2 castes of the Sun Priest. They too ruled until they were overthrown. And then, just like that, the Pyreans ceased to exist. They knew it was imminent, but they could not prevent it. They called this event the Cleansing. Well, this is the reason why we need your help. Not only episodes of history recur within every cycle, characters do as well. Yes, the Pyreans call them the Emissaries. They emerge very shortly before the cleansing occurs, like a law of nature, an answer to the Red Madness. And I am one of them. While I take on the role of the ruler, you take on the role of the prophetess.
What?
It's just a description. Call it what you will. But without doubt, it is the truth. Your story matches the descriptions perfectly. I do not know. Firespark the Mage has told me your story. And even though your fate is tragic, unlike me, you were insignificant before. So maybe everyone can become an emissary. Or we simply have not understood the pattern yet. Yes. Former enemies or not, both sides have understood the magnitude of the threat. The magical knowledge of Narazul's former mages is vast, as is the power of the Holy Order. Even though not all of the Keepers agree, as you probably have already... No. As I already said, the emissaries simply appear at the beginning of the end, like pieces on a chessboard. On the one hand, your power. You carry the potential to master any skill within a fraction of the usual time needed. I assume. On the other hand, your ability to look into the past, and therefore into the future. Your visions are a window into the past. And as every cycle is based on the same events, it is a window into the future as well. You can feel the thread this world is woven with. And because of that, you can see things that have happened, and thus will happen again. This gift makes you indispensable to us. And it is why I want your help. That is the wrong question. The correct question is, what alternative do we have? To wait and die?
Okay.
Good. However, there's one more thing before the actual work begins. I want you to join our order, and to do so, you have to pass a test. A trial. It is. Whatever you think about our story, we are the only faction that is strong. If you want to be part of our mission, you need to have... There will be voices in the Order speaking against your admission, as they are speaking against the presence of the Naramese mages. Consider it an honor or a necessity.
Dobra.
It is the trial the novices have to pass in order to be exalted to the role of a keeper. Only the best students of the Squalor are allowed admission, and even though you have not been a novice, I want you to take... At this very moment, 2 novices are on their way to the testing grounds. I have informed them about your arrival. I had a hunch. Let us
Okay.
leave it at the border to the Heartland, near the Whisper Wood. They will be waiting for you there. Take the Myret, talk to Signet Master Bartar, and hand him this pack. Ah, one more thing. It might be self-evident, but keep your knowledge about the death of the light. I do not believe you can do any real harm. But in the worst case, path-abiding people, after the cycle has been stopped, we will deliberate upon how we deal with the matter. Now, leave. The sooner we can dispense with this formality, the better.
No dobra. O, się zaczęło robić dosyć intensywnie. Coś niezmiernie doniosłego, część druga. Dobra.